Your daddy is a loser who lives off a woman's money, his brother-in-law sneered, just moments before firing him from his own company. 3 months after a humiliating divorce, his ex-wife Chloe is publicly shamed at a high society gala. CEO Lin came into his fortune right after he divorced you. Her rival mocks. Domestic abuse, gambling. Why else would you leave him? The entire world watches online, ready to condemn them both. Just then, a voice cuts through the hall. 100 million. Liam Lin has returned. But he is no longer the broken man they all knew. To the public's accusations, he offers no apology, only a cold, unsettling calm. I am a free person. Why should I explain? When a rival CEO declares all-out corporate war, Regal and Phoenix are mortal enemies. Liam merely smiles. Watching his enemy's multi-billion-dollar empire crumble on the stock market in a single afternoon, he picks up his phone and gives a single, chilling command. Begin. The cold wind at the entrance of the Oceanus Hotel couldn't extinguish the panic in Donovan Dong's heart. He chased after them, out of breath, blocking Liam and Chloe's path with a smile that looked more painful than a grimace. Liam, I really just wanted a simple get-together today. Please don't take it the wrong way. Liam looked at him quietly, his eyes as calm and deep as still water, without a single ripple. The planning department staff had already clarified in front of everyone that Donovan had ordered his name to be removed. His desperate attempt at an explanation was both pathetic and laughable. I'll be leaving the group chat later, Liam said softly. Don't invite me to gatherings like this in the future. He took Chloe's hand and led her towards her small electric car, which looked out of place in the parking lot. And thank you for your hospitality, Donovan. Even though I didn't get enough to eat and didn't have a good time, you still went to the trouble and expense. His words held no anger, but they were more humiliating than any insult. The feeling of being completely dismissed, of being crushed from a different dimension, was suffocating. Donovan rushed forward and grabbed the driver's side door, his voice pleading. Liam, for old time's sake, just give me a chance to apologize. My company's main client is the Oceanus Hotel, and you and Mr. Hong are so close. So that's what you're worried about. Liam finally smiled. He reached out and gently straightened Donovan's collar, his touch light, but his words ice cold. You're not important enough for me to hold a grudge against. But what Nico Hong thinks, well, that's out of my hands. Good luck, Donovan. Being a cruel rich man is a curse. Next time you decide to mock someone, you should probably leave yourself a way out. The car door slammed shut, cutting off the sight of Donovan's pale face. He stood there, stunned, watching the small electric car merge into traffic and disappear. Just then, his phone rang. The caller ID showed it was Vice President Fan from the hotel. He answered with a trembling hand, and was immediately met with a furious roar. Dong, are you insane? You dared to provoke Mr. Hong's own brother. Come in tomorrow to sign the contract termination. From now on, the Oceanus Hotel is done with you. The call ended. Donovan stood frozen, the evening wind making him feel cold to the bone. Anger, regret, remorse. 1,000 emotions washed over him, finally culminating in a single, desperate howl that dissipated into the glittering night sky of Azure Bay City. Inside the car, Chloe was still fuming. You were too nice to them. I thought you'd at least yell at them a little. Broaden your perspective, Liam chuckled. We're on a different level. I don't even have the energy to be angry with them. When a bunch of clowns are jumping around in front of you, you just find it pathetic, don't you? Chloe thought for a moment and nodded. Just then, an elegant ringtone sounded from her phone. It was an unknown number. She answered curiously, putting it on speaker. May I please speak with Miss Chloe Chun? A pleasant female voice asked. This is she. Who is this? Hello, Ms. Chun. My name is Helen Hu. I'm the manager of the Chanel flagship store in Azure Bay City. The Chanel Group is hosting its annual gala for the Greater China region in Seascape City at the end of the month. As you are one of our most valued VIP clients, we would like to formally invite you to attend. Chloe was stunned, instinctively looking at Liam. She had seen galas like this in countless videos online, packed with celebrities and socialites, a dazzling world apart from her own. And now, a ticket to that world had just landed in her lap. Just me? She asked, uncertain. You may bring 2 friends or family members with you. We will arrange for all flights and hotel accommodations, Helen added. Additionally, there will be an annual charity auction at the gala, featuring limited edition Chanel pieces. If you're interested, you might want to prepare in advance. After hanging up, Chloe pouted. That sounds nice. But in the end, they just want us to bring our money. These luxury brands are so sly. Of course, it's all about business, Liam laughed, a shrewd glint in his eye. But for us, this is a perfect opportunity. The hyper-effective flu drug is launching before New Year's, and we need something to kickstart the market. The Chanel Gala brings together all the top influencers and celebrities in the country. Their reach is the best advertisement. The money we spend at the auction is basically a direct investment in the best possible promotion, and we get a good reputation for charity on top of it. It's a win-win. Realization dawned on Chloe's face, and she looked at Liam with awe. This man could always see massive business opportunities where others saw nothing. However, Liam's tone shifted. You can't exactly go as a regular employee of Trident International, can you? I suggest you come to Phoenix Pharmaceuticals now. When you attend that gala, your title will be Senior Vice President of the Phoenix Group. On Monday, when Chloe drove her small car up to the Phoenix Pharmaceuticals Industrial Park, Liam and the group's CEO, Hugo Hahn, were already waiting for her. Today, she wore a deep orange trench coat and light-colored heels, her long hair draped over her shoulders. She radiated a newfound confidence and brilliance. She was no longer the wife whose edges had been worn down by life, but a business executive about to take command. Liam and the group's CEO, Hugo Hahn, were already waiting for her. In the spacious, brightly lit office reserved for her, the head of administration, Irene Sheen, began to explain everything about the group. Liam didn't leave. He just sat quietly by her side. He was amazed to find that Chloe was an incredibly fast learner. Irene only had to explain complex business logic once for Chloe to grasp it, connect it to other concepts, and even offer insightful suggestions. She was completely absorbed in her work, her eyes shining. The desire for a career and the excitement of using her talents made her seem to glow. Watching her focused profile, Liam felt a wave of infinite tenderness and pride. Back then, she had chosen him without hesitation over her career. So now, he would give her an even more brilliant future in return. Time flew by. Irene, watching the easy rapport between Chloe and the work, couldn't help but think. This boss's wife was no mere trophy. She was a true talent, held back by life for far too long. Seeing Chloe completely immersed in her work, Liam felt a satisfaction he had never known before. He went to the Phoenix Pharmaceuticals employee cafeteria for the first time. The air was filled with the aroma of food and the hushed discussions of young employees. Hugo Hahn enthusiastically piled food onto his plate, chattering nonstop. Try this fried fish, and these little steamed buns, they're amazing. They found a corner table. Liam could feel curious and reverent gazes on him from all sides. To these 200 employees, he was a legend, a young man who had built a business myth. What's wrong? Are you getting anxious? Liam asked, seeing the worried look on Hugo's face. How can I not be? Hugo put down his chopsticks and sighed. None of our products are on the market yet, and we're spending over $1 million a month just on salaries. And that's not even the big part. The research department has already burned through almost $1 billion. I'm not worried about your money. I'm worried that when you've burned through it all, you won't have any left to pay me. Liam smiled, his expression calm. $1 million or $2 million a month is nothing to worry about. The pharmaceutical industry is like this. Around New Year's, the hyper-effective flu drug will be released. Then, you'll see how worthwhile today's investment was. I hope so. Hugo's brow remained furrowed. I've contacted the drug administration. They don't seem to think much of us. Director Stanley Song basically implied that we're just using the word hyper-effective as a gimmick to get famous. Liam wasn't surprised. To the outside world, aside from its shocking $3 billion donation, Phoenix Pharmaceuticals had no track record in drug development. An unknown company suddenly claiming to be developing a revolutionary hyper-effective flu drug would naturally look like a well-planned marketing scam to seasoned officials. Don't worry, Liam clapped Hugo on the shoulder, his gaze as sharp as an eagle's. Once the drug is out, it won't be us begging them. They'll be coming to beg us. In the afternoon, Liam drove alone to the Gouaching Bridge construction site. Giant cranes stood like steel titans, and construction vehicles moved back and forth with a deafening roar. Countless busy figures worked among the steel and concrete skeletons, building the city's future. Standing there, a feeling of accomplishment washed over him. He was no longer the young man bewildered by his newfound wealth, but someone who truly felt the heavy weight of responsibility and power on his shoulders. Just then, a call came from Director Jean, his voice trembling with suppressed excitement. Mr. Lin, Chronicles of the Cat God, has officially wrapped. We're holding the wrap ceremony the day after tomorrow at 10 in the morning in Shaoxing. Are you available? Yes, I'll be there, Liam replied without hesitation. He then called Chloe to invite her along. But Chloe, completely absorbed in the Phoenix Group's documents, politely declined. An idea sparked in Liam's mind. Then I'll take Sophie for a bit of fun. It's settled. The next day, Liam and an ecstatic Sophie boarded a flight to Hangzhou. An hour and a half later, the plane landed. From a distance, he saw Director Jean waiting anxiously at the exit, along with 2 young women and a man. From a distance, he saw Director Jean waiting anxiously at the exit, along with 2 young women and a man. Mr. Lin, Director Jean rushed over, his body trembling slightly with excitement. To him, this man was his savior, someone who had given him $100 million and never once interfered with his creative vision. The 3 young people, a handsome man and 2 stunningly beautiful women, were the 3 main actors of the film, Liu Lu, Clara Chen, and Yuna Yu. They greeted Liam nervously, their eyes filled with curiosity and awe for the legendary man behind the scenes. On the business van to the hotel, when the 2 actresses learned that the recent internet singing sensation, Yun Jiujuan, was also one of their company's artists, they nearly squealed with excitement. Liu Lu was more concerned about the film itself. He couldn't help but ask, Mr. Lynn, why are you so confident in Chronicles of the Cat God? Liam smiled, his gaze sweeping over their expectant faces. Because once this movie is released, you will all be on the same level as him. That night in the hotel room, after Sophie had played herself to exhaustion in the play area and fallen asleep on his lap, Liam sent a message to director Gene. Soon, the director arrived, nervously clutching a laptop. With only a single lamp on, Liam sat on the sofa, placed the laptop on his knees, and pressed play. For 2 hours and 10 minutes, he watched with intense focus. The light from the screen flickered across his face, revealing his expressions, sometimes frowning, sometimes relaxing, sometimes his eyes reddening with emotion. The film told a story of searching and protecting, using the personal journey of an ordinary person to showcase the magnificent landscapes and historical sites of the country, ultimately elevating the theme from the small family to the greater family of the nation. The plot, the acting, the cinematography, the score, everything exceeded his expectations. As the credits rolled, the room was silent. Liam let out a long breath, a breath filled with shock, emotion, and the immense joy of relief. He turned to director Gene, whose palms were sweating with nervousness, and spoke slowly, his voice trembling almost imperceptibly. Gene, you did it. This is a film that will go down in history. As the final credits rolled across the laptop screen, a long silence fell over the room. Liam let out a slow, deep breath, a mix of shock, emotion, and immense relief. He turned to director Gene, who was practically sweating with anxiety, and his voice trembled almost imperceptibly as he spoke. Gene, congratulations. You did it. That simple validation struck director Gene like a bolt of lightning. He shuddered, overwhelmed with emotion, and asked cautiously, Mr. Lynn, what did you think? It's brilliant. Liam stood up, not holding back his praise. The cinematography, the plot, the camera work, the acting, it's all practically perfect. This is a film that will go down in history. Director Gene's eyes instantly reddened. He knew what Liam was thinking. The man who had poured his soul into this dream needed one thing above all else right now: affirmation. What do you think the final box office will be? Liam asked with a smile. Director Gene was silent for a long time before he finally spoke, his voice almost a whisper. This film is very niche. With your support and Phoenix Entertainment's backing, maybe 200 million. He said the number with a sense of shame and guilt, because it meant Liam's $100 million investment would be a total loss. A muscle in Liam's jaw twitched. 200 million? Did director Gene have that little faith in his own work? Gene, it's one thing to be humble, but you can't be self-deprecating. Liam's gaze suddenly sharpened. Let me put it this way. Based on my reaction to this film, the final box office for Chronicles of the Cat God will be at least 4 billion. What? Director Jin's eyes widened, and he stared at Liam as if he'd seen a ghost. You don't believe me? Liam smiled. If it doesn't reach that number, then it's my failure and Phoenix Entertainment's failure. It will have nothing to do with you. To director Gene, this was the highest form of reassurance. He stood up and bowed deeply to Liam, his voice solemn. Mr. Lynn, there are 2 great kindnesses in this world: saving a life and recognizing one's talent. I, Gene, swear that regardless of the box office, as long as you still want me, I will follow you to the ends of the earth. The next morning, before dawn, 2 buses carrying the entire film crew began the journey to the wrap ceremony location. The mood inside was light and celebratory, full of hope for the future. Liam sat in the front, with director Gene beside him. They were both silent, but each could feel the excitement in the other. Just then, Liam's phone rang. It was Ju from Phoenix Entertainment. Mr. Lynn, Jay's voice was heavy. The screening schedules from the major cinema chains are out, and it's not looking good. The top chains are only giving us a 5 in 1,000 screening rate, and only for 2 weeks. 5 in 1,000. The number was like a bucket of ice water, instantly extinguishing the warmth in the bus. Though Liam didn't have the phone on speaker, director Gene and the lead actors sitting nearby heard everything. The color drained from their faces. It meant that the masterpiece they had poured their hearts and souls into wouldn't even get a fair chance to be seen by audiences. It was practically a death sentence. Liam's brow furrowed, but only for a moment. He spoke into the phone with an authoritative tone. Contact all the major short-form video platforms. Cut trailers and start a full-scale promotional campaign. Also, I'm injecting another $1 billion into Phoenix Entertainment. It's your job to figure out how to negotiate with those cinemas, how to use that money to kick down their doors. The pre-screening box office is crucial. Get everything ready before then. 1 billion. The entire bus fell silent. Everyone strained to listen, their faces a mask of shock. After hanging up, Liam slowly stood and surveyed the stunned, confused, and despairing faces in the bus. That was the director of marketing. I'm sure you heard what he said. Yes, the big domestic cinema chains look down on us. They want to crush us before we even have a chance. His voice wasn't loud, but it reached every ear. But I, Liam Lynn, refuse to accept that. I've seen the full film. I was captivated by it, by your acting, and by your hard work. You all came from different places, chasing a dream, facing countless setbacks to be here. Why? Because you have a light inside you. His voice rose, filled with power. Now, I am willing to carve out a bloody path for this film, for your dreams. Are you willing to fight this battle with me? After a moment of dead silence, the bus erupted in a roar that shook the windows. We are. By the time the bus arrived at its destination, everyone's demeanor had changed. They were no longer a film crew about to part ways. They were an army, assembled and ready for war. Liam held Sophie's small hand, walking on the ancient stone path, softly telling her the legend of the great emperor who founded their nation's first dynasty. The grand, ancient architecture seemed to silently speak of a people's unyielding resilience. At 9:58 a.m., the wrap ceremony officially began. When director Gene lit the first stick of incense and made a wish to the heavens, everyone knew he was no longer just wishing for a box office hit, but for victory in a war. This ceremony, held at the resting place of their nation's founding ancestor, had transcended its original meaning. It had become a somber yet heroic rally, a declaration of war, worth $4 billion, delivered to the entire industry. The plane landed smoothly at Azure Bay International Airport. Filled with the joy from the wrap party and a firm belief in the future, Liam took Sophie's hand and walked out of the terminal. He called Chloe, his voice full of cheer. Still at the office? I'm back. You're back. Chloe's surprised voice came through the phone. I'm at my aunt's house right now. She sprained her ankle, so I came to see her. Liam's smile faded slightly. Aunt Carmen. The name was like a small thorn in his side. The woman who, behind everyone's back, had tried to push Chloe toward another man. He was about to make an excuse when a mocking male voice cut in. Chloe, why don't you have him come over? We've all got time. We can have a nice get-together. It was Evan Jiang, Chloe's brother-in-law. The familiar, obnoxious tone instantly brought to mind an image of him lounging with his legs crossed, a look of contempt on his face. All right, I'll head over now, Liam said decisively, not giving him a chance for another performance, and hung up. Daddy, I don't want to go to Great Aunt's house. Sophie's face fell, her eyes full of resistance. That uncle is so annoying, and that other boy always steals my toys. Liam smiled and ruffled his daughter's hair, but his eyes turned cold. Sweetheart, remember this. We don't bully others, but we never let others bully us. If he tries to take your toys again, you hit him. Mom and Dad are your strongest backup. 40 minutes later, carrying newly bought gifts, Liam rang the doorbell of an apartment on the 23rd floor. Chloe opened the door, and Sophie flew into her mother's arms like a little bird. Chloe grumbled about Liam not bathing or changing their daughter's clothes for 2 days as she carried Sophie inside. Liam followed, his eyes immediately landing on Aunt Carmen, who was half reclining on the sofa with a cast on her left foot, and Evan, who was sizing him up like he owned the place. You're here? Have a seat, Evan said, his eyes sweeping over Liam without even bothering to get up. Liam glanced at the sofa, which they had completely occupied. Chloe quickly brought a small stool from the corner. He sat down casually, as if he didn't notice the deliberate snub. Liam, I hear you took Sophie on a trip? Evan paused the TV and said in an exaggerated tone. TSK, taking a vacation on Chloe's dime. You really know how to live. What can I do? Liam stopped Chloe before she could explain, and replied with a smile. The doctor said my stomach is weak, so I can only eat soft food. It's a good thing my wife is such a great provider. Your wife can't say the same, can she? The single sentence left Evan's face livid. Dinner was soon served. Aunt Carmen deliberately brought up Felix Fong, but Chloe shut her down firmly. Auntie, I will never accept any man other than Liam, and we're getting remarried soon. No good deed goes unpunished. Evan slammed his chopsticks down. I pulled so many strings to find someone like Mr. Fong for you. You're a real disappointment. At that tense moment, Evan's phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID, immediately held up a finger for silence, and then, in a clear display of showing off, pressed the speakerphone button. A pleasant female voice came from the phone. Hello, Mr. Jiang. This is the HR department at Phoenix Pharmaceuticals. Your resume has been approved. You can come in tomorrow to complete the onboarding process. After hanging up, Evan was consumed by a state of ecstatic arrogance. He shot Liam a look as if he were an ant. Phoenix Pharmaceuticals, you've heard of it, right? The one that donated $3 billion. He then launched into a long-winded analysis, dissecting the $3 billion donation as a complete capitalistic conspiracy for fame and tax evasion. It would have been better to just give the money to the poor, right? Why bother with building roads and bridges? It's just for show. I saw right through it. Listening to his short-sighted diatribe, Chloe finally had enough. She put down her chopsticks, her eyes clear and sharp. Evan, have you ever been to Ijo province? Have you seen what it's really like in those mountainous areas? It was on TV, wasn't it? Evan scoffed. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Chloe's voice was quiet but firm. What you call giving money directly isn't poverty alleviation, it's a handout. Handouts just make people lazy. Building roads and bridges gives them hope. It benefits them for generations to come. You haven't been there, you haven't seen the despair, so don't you dare sit here and speculate. It doesn't prove how smart you are. It only proves how ignorant you are. Her words left Evan red-faced and speechless. Humiliated, he could only resort to the most ridiculous logic to fight back. Why are you getting so worked up? I see what this is. You're just jealous. You're jealous that I got a job at Phoenix Pharmaceuticals, so you're arguing with me. Jealous. Chloe was stunned. Then she laughed out of sheer frustration. She looked at the self-important man before her, finding the situation utterly absurd. You think I'm jealous of you? With Evan's condescending accusation of jealousy, the last bit of warmth vanished from Chloe's eyes. She knew there was no reasoning with someone so petty and narrow-minded. Liam gently squeezed her hand and whispered in her ear, "You can't argue with a fool." Chloe gave him a reassuring smile, and then said something that left Evan and the others completely bewildered. "You handle it." Aunt Carmen dropped all pretense and began listing Liam's crimes, accusing him of ruining the family and being unworthy of Chloe. Liam just listened with a small smile until she had exhausted herself. Then he spoke slowly. "Well, I should thank you, Andy. If you hadn't gone behind my back to set Chloe up with Felix Fong, we might never have gotten divorced." Just then, a deafening wail erupted from the bedroom. Evan's son, Justin, shot out like a little cannonball, pointing at Sophie, who followed him out. "That little loser hit me. Boo-hoo. You're the little loser. Your whole family are losers," Sophie retorted, clutching the new princess doll her father just bought her. "He called me names first and tried to steal my toy." Wendy, Evan's wife, snapped at Sophie. "Why did you hit your cousin?" "I didn't. He said my daddy is a loser and has no money to buy me toys. He said my toy was from begging." Evan's face turned purple with rage. He roared at Sophie. "Your daddy doesn't have a damn cent. He's just a loser who lives off a woman's money." Smack. Before the words were even out of his mouth, a loud, crisp slap echoed through the room. Evan clutched his face, staring in disbelief at the man who had suddenly exploded. "Say that again." Liam's eyes were as cold as daggers, his voice seething with repressed fury. "You can mock me all you want, I can take it. But you dare to yell at my daughter? Do you want me to rip that filthy mouth of yours off your face? How dare you hit him?" Aunt Carmen shrieked. "This is outrageous. Call the police. Have them arrest him." Winnie took out her phone with trembling hands and dialed for the police. Liam also took out his phone. Just like Evan had done earlier, he put it on speaker and tossed it on the table. Irene Sheen's respectful voice came through. "CEO Lynn. Transfer me to HR," Liam said curtly. A middle-aged woman's voice came on the line. "CEO Lynn, hello? This is Gina Jiang from Human Resources." At the name Gina Jiang, Evan's body jolted. He looked up in disbelief, staring at Liam. In the list of newly hired employees for the finance department, there's a name, Evan Jiang. Are you aware of him? Liam's gaze fell on Evan as if he were looking at something inanimate. "Yes, CEO Lynn. He applied for the cashier position and is scheduled to start tomorrow." Liam watched as Evan's face went from red to white, then to a sickly green. He said slowly, "This person has a character problem. He is not suitable for Phoenix Pharmaceuticals. From now on, when recruiting, make sure you vet for character as well." "Understood." "Yes, CEO Lynn. This was my oversight. I guarantee it will never happen again." Gina's voice on the other end was filled with nervous panic. Liam hung up. The living room was dead silent. Wendy was still on the line with the police, but she couldn't utter a single word. She asked in a dreamlike whisper, "Phoenix Pharmaceuticals. The CEO named Lynn. Is that you? Don't I look the part?" Liam laughed mockingly. Then again, "In the eyes of people like you, I, Liam Lynn, will always be nothing more than a pathetic loser." Just then, Evan's phone rang shrilly. An unknown number. He flinched, but finally answered with a trembling hand. "Hello, Mr. Jiang. This is Gina Jiang, Director of Human Resources at Phoenix Pharmaceuticals. Due to uncontrollable factors regarding your profile, we have decided to rescind your offer of employment. Have a pleasant day. Goodbye." The voice from the phone was like a final judgment, utterly shattering all of Evan's pride and delusions. His face was ashen, and he made a choking sound in his throat, but couldn't form a single word. "Do you still think my wife is jealous of you?" Liam's tone was full of scorn. "Oh, I forgot to mention. Chloe is now the Senior Vice President of Phoenix Pharmaceuticals." He picked up Sophie, took Chloe's hand, and walked towards the door, leaving Aunt Carmen's family staring as if they'd been turned to stone. "Move," he said to Aunt Carmen, who was blocking his path, his voice as cold as ice. "I can't stomach the food in your house, Liam Lynn, and your son-in-law, Evan Jiang, isn't worthy of my company." Instead of going home, Liam took his wife and daughter next door and knocked on Mrs. Wong's door. The old woman's face lit up when she saw them. "You rascal, I thought you'd forgotten all about us." Inside, Mr. Song was reading the newspaper with his glasses on, but broke into a wide grin at the sight of Sophie. Chloe was puzzled, until Mrs. Wong explained sheepishly, "It's his birthday today." Her words cast a pall over the room. An 80th birthday, a milestone meant to be celebrated with children and grandchildren, was being marked by just two lonely old people. Liam watched Mr. Song's forced smile, a bitter taste in his mouth. Excusing himself to the restroom, he quietly made a few phone calls. A delivery boy stood there with a beautifully decorated cake, apologizing profusely for the delay, explaining it was due to a scheduling error. He said that a Mr. Song, the couple's eldest son, had ordered it the night before. Mr. Song and Mrs. Wong were stunned. When they saw the inscription, "Happy birthday to my dearest father," tears welled up in Mr. Song's wrinkled eyes. Immediately after, his old phone rang. Then, calls from their second son, third son, and youngest daughter came in one after another. The old couple answered excitedly, their words full of feigned complaints, but their eyes shining with undisguisable joy. Liam and Chloe exchanged a knowing smile. Mr. Song was actually allergic to grapes, which were decorating the cake. His son would have known that. But in that moment, no one would dare to spoil the kind-hearted lie. Sometimes, a prompted phone call was enough to comfort two lonely, aging hearts. As night fell, a warm light filled their rented apartment. Liam woke from an afternoon nap to the sound of Chloe cooking in the kitchen and Sophie's cheerful laughter. The washing machine was running, cartoons were playing on the TV, and the city's neon lights glowed outside. This moment of warmth and tranquility was the happiness he had always dreamed of. He walked into the kitchen and gently wrapped his arms around the woman preparing a meal for him. "Honey," he whispered in her ear, "I don't want to leave tonight." That night, for years of distance and regret melted away. As the morning sun streamed into the room, Liam felt that his world had never been more complete. A week later, Liam arrived at the Phoenix Entertainment headquarters. The office was sleek and modern, with the giant Phoenix logo everywhere, a testament to the new entertainment empire's vibrant energy. In Jay and Vincent's office, the casualness of brotherhood had been replaced by professional focus. CEO Lin, here's the information on the marketing for Chronicles of the Cat God and the China's Hot Hits finale, Jay said, handing him a file. With Liam's billion-yuan injection, the promotional campaign for the movie had become a force of nature, dominating every major platform. Meanwhile, the date for the China's Hot Hits finale had been set, and an even bigger financial storm was brewing. To help Yun Jiujuan win the championship, Vincent said, opening another file, his expression a mix of gravity and excitement. Those wealthy superfans have started making their moves. Hannah Han, the heiress to a media conglomerate. Lydia Lee, the CEO of a major electronics company. And Rosalind Luo, the eldest daughter of the Crestview Group family. These women, at the very peak of the wealth pyramid, had publicly declared that they would propel Yun Jiujuan to victory by buying up shares of Sparrow Media on the night of the finale. The Crestview Group? Liam raised an eyebrow. He knew the weight of that name better than anyone. It was a colossal family conglomerate with a total market value of over $500 billion, a true behemoth. A single word from the eldest daughter could send shockwaves through the capital market. That's right, Jay smiled. Sparrow Media's stock has already started to climb, from 60 to 75. And that's just the appetizer. When the finale begins, that's when the real explosion will happen. Liam leaned back on the sofa, a look of anticipation in his eyes. He knew that as Sparrow Media's second-largest shareholder, a feast of fortune was about to be served, just for him. After leaving Phoenix Entertainment, Liam didn't go far, heading down 2 floors to Phoenix Capital. His brother, Hector, was surprised and amused to see him. "You're the king of absentee bosses. You have 3 floors in this building, and I've never seen you here once. With you guys here, what do I have to worry about?" Liam laughed and sat down, then his tone shifted. "How are the talks with Summit Retail going?" Hector's expression soured. "Not well. The Tangs are adamant. They won't allow anyone's shareholding to surpass their own." Liam nodded, as if he expected this. "Brother, let me tell you this. Summit Retail's capital chain is broken. They can't just watch their life's work collapse. The issue of shares isn't non-negotiable, but how you negotiate it, well, that's up to you." He left it at that. Hector understood immediately. This was a test from Liam, the ultimate test of his ability to solve a complex business problem independently, without any hints. On December 15th, one day before the Chanel Gala, Liam and Chloe, along with Caleb's girlfriend Penny and Zane's potential girlfriend Jean, boarded a flight to Seascape City. In first class, the 3 women were a whirlwind of conversation. When Penny learned that Chloe was wielding $10 billion in spending money from Liam, and that Jean had also received $5 billion from Zane, her face fell into an expression of utter despair. This wasn't just being spoiled, it was obscenely generous. Jean, however, was troubled by it. Her relationship with Zane wasn't official yet, and this enormous sum of money was both sweet and burdensome. Liam listened to their chatter, which jumped from clothes to handbags, from love to money, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction and gratitude. He was grateful that he now had the power to give Chloe the kind of capital she could flaunt without a second thought. When the plane landed, Dexter Xiang's signature Mercedes G-Wagon was already waiting. "Brother Lin," Dexter shouted, rushing over to give Liam a bear hug. "So where are we going tonight?" Liam asked with a smile. Dexter's expression turned serious. "Brother Lin, tonight is a family dinner. My dad, he wants to meet you." Vincent Xiang, the most powerful official in Seascape City. Liam knew this family dinner was more than just a reunion. It was a test. And at its core was the hot potato that even the government found difficult to handle, Guanyun Village. Chloe tactfully said she would take the other two girls shopping, so as not to disturb their business. Dexter first dropped the women off at their hotel before driving Liam toward a seaside neighborhood. In the car, Liam brought up the weather casually. "Dexter, what are your thoughts on global warming?" Dexter was completely baffled. The sudden topic change caught him off guard, and he could only awkwardly say he wasn't very educated on the matter. Liam then asked, "Do you think it will rain in Seascape City this year?" "No way." Dexter shook his head without thinking. "This weather is freezing. The forecast says it's going to drop below zero the day after tomorrow. It's more likely to snow." "Oh," Liam said, then leaned back and closed his eyes, saying no more. But Dexter couldn't shake the feeling that his seemingly random question held some earth-shattering secret. At 4 in the afternoon, they arrived at the apartment. The door was opened by a tall, handsome middle-aged man, Vincent Xiong. The aura of authority he carried, even through a warm smile, made Liam feel a flicker of pressure. "Uncle Xiong," Liam greeted him politely. "Liam, you're here. Please, come in," Vincent said, welcoming him inside. The meeting was not held in an official government building. Its private nature was a sign of the immense importance Vincent placed on Liam. A high-stakes game centered around Guanyun Village, and perhaps the entire future of Seascape City, was about to begin in this scholarly living room. The heavy, antique door swung open to reveal Vincent Xiong, Seascape City's top official, smiling with a warmth that couldn't quite mask his authority. The living room was adorned with calligraphy and paintings, and the air was fragrant with tea, exuding an understated elegance. Vincent's wife, Catherine, a graceful woman, came out from the kitchen and greeted Liam warmly, her friendly demeanor instantly softening the official's imposing presence. "Liam, you and your uncle sit and chat for a while. I'll get dinner started. You have to try my cooking tonight," Catherine said with a smile. "Auntie, don't go to too much trouble. A full imperial banquet will be just fine," Liam joked, earning a round of laughter that immediately relaxed the atmosphere. Liam and Vincent sat across from each other by the coffee table, while Dexter busied himself with brewing tea. "Dexter has told me all about you," Vincent began, his gaze sharp. "To have achieved so much at such a young age, you are truly exceptional." He then shifted the topic, discussing corporate spirit and philanthropic belief, his words a mix of praise and a senior's subtle probing of a junior. Liam adopted a humble posture, explaining his plans for the Phoenix Charitable Foundation and what he had seen in the impoverished mountain regions. He understood this was a political audit from Vincent, a test of his values. When he skillfully navigated a test involving a gift of rare tea by saying, "People have no high or low status," a look of genuine approval finally appeared in the official's eyes. The dinner was a sumptuous and warm affair, featuring authentic local dishes. After a few drinks, Vincent finally got to the point. "That land in Guanyun Village, you want it?" "Yes," Liam nodded without hesitation. Vincent laid out the immense difficulties of relocating the villagers, his tone full of doubt about Liam's ability to succeed. "The government has tried everything we can, with little effect. I want to know how you plan to handle it properly." Liam pursed his lips, not revealing his hand, but gave a solemn promise. "Uncle Xiong, I can't tell you the specific method right now, but I can guarantee that Phoenix Properties will abide by the law. As long as the government is willing to sell, you won't have to worry about the relocation." After a moment's thought, Vincent finally gave his consent. "You can have the land, but you must sign a guarantee. If any problems arise, the government has the right to reclaim it at any time." "Deal," Liam agreed instantly. He knew that after certain events took place, both the villagers and the government would be begging him for help. At 8 o'clock, Liam took his leave, but Dexter followed him out like a shadow, carrying several bottles of red wine, insisting they go to the Shangri-La Hotel for a few more drinks. The hotel lobby was abuzz with last-minute preparations for the next night's Chanel gala. Celebrities and influencers milled about. Dexter, looking like a country bumpkin, pointed at a stunning woman surrounded by media and security. "Holy crap, it's Jessica Chu, the national goddess." Liam followed his gaze. The woman, dressed in a deep blue down jacket paired with crystal heels and stockings, was indeed exquisite. An idea instantly sparked in his mind. "You like her that much? Want to go meet her?" Liam asked with a smile. "I was just planning to poach her for Phoenix Entertainment." "What?" Dexter's eyes widened. "She's a top-tier star. How much would that cost?" "You think I can't afford it?" Liam retorted. When Jessica finished her interview and headed backstage, Liam and Dexter slowly approached. "Miss Chu," he called out. Jessica didn't turn around, but the plump woman beside her, her top agent, Melinda Liu, stopped and sized them up. "Jessica needs to prepare. You can get an autograph next time." "Excuse me, I'm not here for an autograph," Liam said, handing her a business card with a smile. "I'm Liam Lin, chairman of Phoenix Entertainment. I'd like to discuss a collaboration with Miss Chu." Melinda's expression changed slightly when she saw Phoenix Pharmaceuticals on the card, but her professional smile returned when she heard Liam wanted to poach her client. Mr. Lynn, Jessica is very happy where she is. At this, Jessica turned around, her voice soft but distant. I'm sorry, Mr. Lynn. My contract hasn't expired yet. I'm not considering changing companies at this time. You will be soon. Liam's smile held an unreadable certainty. Jessica frowned slightly. What do you mean by that, Mr. Lynn? Liam didn't explain. He simply pressed the card into Melinda's hand, his smile gone. Hold on to this. Believe me, we will have a very pleasant collaboration. With that, he turned and walked away, leaving Jessica, Melinda, and a completely bewildered Dexter standing there in his wake. Faced with Liam's confident assertion that she would soon be considering his offer, Jessica Chu and her agent, Melinda Liu, were momentarily speechless. Just then, a surprised voice came from behind them. Mr. Lin. They turned to see Yun Jujuan. Seeing Liam, he was as excited as a child seeing a parent, his words full of reverence. When Melinda tried to use her status as a top agent to network with him, she was met with a cool indifference that made her question her own influence for the first time. Later, when she looked up Dexter Xiang online and discovered that the grinning fan who had asked for a photo was the son of Seascape City's most powerful official, a strange chill crept up her spine. She watched Liam's retreating back and felt, for the first time, that this young man and his unknown Phoenix Entertainment were shrouded in an impenetrable mystery. The next morning, at the municipal government building, Dexter introduced Liam to the head of the Land Bureau, Director Zhao. He was a man who exuded shrewdness. Already briefed by Vincent Xiang, after some polite probing, he offered an insider price, $600 million for the Guanyun village land, and its surrounding 30,000 square meters, a full $230 million below market value. Liam didn't hesitate, sealing the deal on the spot and having Phoenix Properties immediately transfer the documents and funds. Half an hour later, when he walked out of the government building with a thick stack of land deeds, the hot potato officially belonged to him. In the afternoon, the Mercedes G-Wagon slowly made its way up the mountain road toward Guanyun village. The environment was beautiful and serene, with Guanyun Mountain to the west and the waterfront to the east, a perfect location for a top-tier resort. Liam didn't go directly into the village. Instead, he took Dexter up the mountain path to a temple on the mountainside. He lit a stick of incense before the Buddha and knelt in solemn prayer, his expression unreadable. Coming down from the temple, they entered the village. At the entrance, several elderly men were sitting on small stools, basking in the sun. Liam walked over with a smile, offering them cigarettes and striking up a natural conversation. Uncles, have your children all moved away? Have you ever considered living with them in the city? The city? You have to pay just to use a toilet. We're not going. It's great in the village. We old friends can chat and play cards every day. It's comfortable. Through this seemingly casual chat, Liam gathered crucial information. Most of the young people had left, and the remaining elderly residents had a deep attachment to the land. This was the biggest obstacle to relocation. He also managed to find out the approximate number and value of the houses in the village, making final preparations for his plan. As they walked around the village, Liam never mentioned a word about demolition. He was just a tourist, taking in the local culture. It wasn't until they were getting back in the car to leave that he turned to Dexter, his voice more serious than ever before. December 20th, 10:30 p.m. You will be at home. Don't go anywhere. Wait for my call. Dexter was completely baffled. He couldn't understand the meaning of the instruction. All he knew was that Liam had been saying strange things and asking bizarre questions lately. From yesterday's talk of rain to today's questions about rocks and soil, and now this mysterious command, precise down to the minute. It all filled him with a strong sense of unease. He had no idea that a massive storm, one that would shock all of Seascape City, was quietly brewing under Liam's precise prediction, and that he, Dexter, would be its most crucial witness and executor. In their Riverview room at the Shangri-La, Liam and Dexter lay on the bed, watching the live stream of the Chanel annual gala on their phones. On screen, celebrities and influencers made their grand entrances, a glittering spectacle of glamour and wealth. Yun Jojuan's live performance brought the atmosphere to a fever pitch. A foreign luxury brand managing to dominate the domestic market for so many years. It seems our country's worship of foreign things is hard to change, Dexter lamented, shaking his head at the opulence on screen. You can't look at it that way entirely, Liam said calmly. Everyone has a bit of vanity. Sometimes, it's what drives a person to strive for more. As the host took the stage, the main event of the evening, the charity auction, officially began. The camera panned across the audience, and Liam finally spotted Chloe. She sat there, poised and elegant, her natural beauty standing out in the crowd. The first item was a new handbag with a starting bid of $500,000. Chloe was the first to raise her paddle, her voice clear and firm. $1 million. The decisive bid immediately drew the attention of the entire room. After a few rounds, with the price at $1.5 million, Chloe raised her paddle again. $3 million. The room gasped. In the end, Chloe won the handbag for the staggering price. At the host's invitation, she stood up and, facing countless cameras and millions of online viewers, gave a graceful speech, skillfully steering the conversation toward Phoenix Pharmaceuticals' charitable work and Liam's 3 billion yuan donation to Ezhou. Instantly, the live stream's comment section exploded with praise like CEO Chun is a goddess, and Phoenix Pharmaceuticals is a company with a conscience. I never knew she was such a good speaker, Dexter exclaimed in amazement. Liam smiled, his eyes full of pride. This is how she was always meant to shine. The second item was brought out, a necklace made of rare blue sapphires, named the Blue Queen, with a starting bid of 2 million. The host waxed poetic about its symbolism of eternal love and fidelity. Once again, Chloe was the first to bid. 3 million. After a fierce bidding war, with the price at 7.6 million, Chloe raised her paddle one last time. Her voice was quiet, but it silenced the entire venue. 10 million. Just as the host was praising Chloe as a woman who had it all, family and career, a discordant voice cut through the air. If I recall correctly, aren't CEO Chun and CEO Lin divorced? All eyes snapped to the source of the voice, a portly, bejeweled woman. The host awkwardly introduced her as Linda Ning, the wife of the chairman of the pharmaceutical giant, Regal Pharmaceuticals. Since you're divorced, Linda sneered at Chloe, this Blue Queen is useless to you. Why waste the money? 11 million. The public slap was vicious and direct. Under the glare of the live stream cameras, Chloe's face paled, but only for a moment. She straightened her back, her gaze turning icy cold. It seems Mrs. Ning pays quite a bit of attention to me, she began, her voice steady and deliberate. However, I heard that you and your husband started from scratch. But your esteemed father, Dr. Li Nanxiong, was at the Seascape Pharmaceutical Research Institute back then, and certainly helped a great deal with the founding of Regal Pharmaceuticals. If that counts as starting from scratch, then who didn't start from scratch? The retort left Linda's face purple with rage. Before she could respond, Chloe continued. Furthermore, Mrs. Ning, you accuse me of wasting money. Do you believe that charity is a waste of money? And even if I am divorced, what does that have to do with this necklace? The Blue Queen represents the modern woman. It represents fidelity and love. Does my divorce mean I can no longer believe in love? She paused, her gaze suddenly sharp as a knife. You can eat whatever you want, but don't spout nonsense. Mrs. Ning, have some self-respect. Chloe's sharp, pointed retort landed like a slap across Linda Ning's face. She wanted to argue back, but realized every word Chloe spoke was a dagger aimed precisely at the weak spots in her carefully constructed, self-made persona. Furious, she dropped the pretense of a high society lady and sneered. Is CEO Chun getting defensive? I'm just stating the facts. You, on the other hand, Mrs. Ning, keep bringing up my divorce. Could it be that you see Phoenix Pharmaceuticals as a threat to Regal Pharmaceuticals, and you're trying to use public opinion to suppress us early on? Chloe didn't yield an inch. Phoenix Pharmaceuticals isn't big enough for Regal Pharmaceuticals to target. Then kindly shut your mouth. The verbal sparring between the two women cast a heavy silence over the entire banquet hall. The other guests exchanged awkward glances. They never expected an elegant charity gala to devolve into a prelude to open corporate warfare. In the hotel room, Dexter watched the live stream with a frown. Is this Linda Ning out of her mind? What does she gain from making a scene in front of everyone? Liam said nothing. He simply exited the streaming app and dialed an unlisted number with 4 8s at the end. A deep, middle-aged male voice answered. This is Nathan Ning, right? Liam's tone was devoid of any pleasantries. Liam Lin, Phoenix Pharmaceuticals. Nathan Ning was clearly taken aback, but recovered with a faint laugh. Ah, CEO Lin. Did you put your wife up to this? Liam got straight to the point. Your wife thinks Chloe isn't worthy of the Blue Queen. Do you think she is? Will you be giving this necklace to Linda Ning, or to Lucia Liu? Liam enunciated the name, Lucia Liu, with deliberate weight. A dead silence fell on the other end of the line. Nathan Ning, I'm warning you. Liam's voice turned cold. I'm happy to engage in fair business competition, but if you pull another stunt like this, don't blame me for playing dirty. With that, he hung up. Meanwhile, the bidding at the gala had reached a fever pitch. The host had managed to restore some semblance of order, but the war between Chloe and Linda was just beginning. 15 million. Chloe bid first. 20 million. Linda immediately countered. 25 million. 30 million. 40 million. The price skyrocketed, the only sounds in the hall being the back-and-forth bids of the two women. Jean and Penny watched, their hearts pounding. They couldn't understand why a single necklace was worth all this. This isn't about the necklace. It's about the reputation of Phoenix Pharmaceuticals, Chloe explained to them in a low voice. If I lose today, tomorrow's headlines will be Phoenix Pharmaceuticals outmatched by Regal. In the eyes of the consumer, financial power equals corporate strength, which equals the quality of our medicine. I can't lose. She took a deep breath and raised her paddle again, her voice ringing clear throughout the hall. 80 million. The entire hall gasped. Linda Ning's face turned ugly. She looked at the woman who remained composed under the spotlight and finally played her last, most vicious card. As far as I know, CEO Lin came into his fortune suddenly in the last 3 months. And it was right after he divorced you, CEO Chun, she said loudly, a cruel delight on her face. As for CEO Lin's past, I think everyone should look it up online. Domestic abuse, gambling, disrespecting his parents. If CEO Lin was really so good to you, why would you have divorced him? The inevitable had happened. The color drained from Chloe's face. Almost simultaneously, the comment sections of the live streams exploded with a torrent of insults and accusations. The reputation of Phoenix Pharmaceuticals plunged into an abyss. 90 million, Linda Ning said with the casual air of a victor. The game, she believed, was over. Just then, a magnetic voice came from the entrance of the hall, cutting cleanly through the noise. 100 million. All heads turned to see a tall, handsome man in a well-tailored suit walking slowly toward them. He went straight to Chloe's side and, in front of the entire hall and the whole world watching online, gently pulled her into his arms. Liam Lin. Linda's eyes narrowed. Liam smiled at her, a smile laced with icy mockery. Your little word games are useless, Linda shouted, her voice betraying her fear. You'd better be thinking about how you're going to explain your past to the public. Liam surveyed the room, his eyes finally landing on the main camera pointed directly at him. The smile vanished from his face, replaced by an unsettling calm. I am a free person, he began slowly, each word landing like a hammer blow on every heart. Why should I explain? Why should I explain? Liam's almost defiant question was like a boulder dropped into a calm lake, sending massive waves across the internet. What was he doing? Was he planning to fight against the entire world's condemnation? A cruel smile played on Linda Ning's lips. The man, she thought, had clearly gone mad. However, Liam's next words gave everyone pause. I truly have no intention of explaining, he said calmly to the camera, his gaze as deep as the ocean. For the past 4 years, I did many wrong things. I won't make excuses, and I won't pretend to be a good person in front of all of you. I wronged my wife, my child, and my family. When you are wrong, you must admit it. He paused, his voice carrying the weight of a hard-earned truth. But do I really need to explain all of this to you? And what good would an explanation do? A fallen leaf cannot return to the branch. If I am to explain myself, it will only be to my family. Perhaps in everyone's eyes, I, Liam Lin, will always be a scumbag, a monster. But honestly, I don't care. His words struck a chord with the online mob ready to tear him apart. They wanted to curse him, but they found they had nothing to say. He hadn't offered a phony defense or a grand plea for forgiveness. He had, with stark honesty, laid his ugliest scars bare for the world to see. Liam slowly turned to Chloe, his deep eyes reflecting only her. I am not asking for forgiveness, because I know my sins are unforgivable. So, all I can do now is make amends. I will help you achieve your dreams, give our child the best life, put our parents at ease, and support my brothers. I will show everyone who has been good to me that I, Liam Lin, am doing everything in my power to change. The hall was silent. The women in the audience who had previously held a terrible opinion of him were now deeply moved, tears welling in their eyes. I am changing, Liam said softly, looking at Chloe. A blissful smile bloomed on Chloe's face. She reached out and squeezed his hand tightly. Yes, and she now thinks you are the best daddy in the whole world. Just when everyone thought this was the emotional peak, Chloe took a step forward and, in front of countless people, wrapped her arms around Liam in a tight hug. When we remarry, I don't want to see that look of guilt in your eyes anymore. I know that you, Liam Lin, have always been, and always will be, a responsible man. She stood on her toes and pinched his cheek, smiling like a carefree young girl. In that moment, all misunderstandings and distances vanished in that single embrace. A wave of thunderous applause erupted from every corner of the hall, rising and falling, never ending. The live stream comments, once filled with hate, were now flooded with messages of support. CEO Lin is a legend, and a prodigal son's return is worth more than gold. Linda Ning was completely stunned. Her carefully planned public execution had not only failed to destroy her rival, but had instead become the perfect backdrop for their love story, personally elevating Liam and Chloe to the pinnacle of moral and popular acclaim. Her phone vibrated. It was her husband, Nathan Ning. After a short, tense conversation, she hung up, her face ashen. She did not bid again. In the end, the Blue Queen was sold for a heavenly price of 100 million yuan. Liam personally fastened the necklace around Chloe's neck. In that moment, under the brilliant lights, she truly was a queen. Chloe went on to win 3 more items in the auction, bringing her total to 197 million and earning her, without question, the title of Chanel's annual charity ambassador. She walked onto the stage and delivered a speech about the difference between helping and handouts. Her profound insights and sincere attitude once again earned her a standing ovation. But it wasn't over. After Chloe stepped down, the host's voice boomed once more. And now, Let's give our warmest round of applause to the chairman of Phoenix Pharmaceuticals, Phoenix Properties, Phoenix Capital, and Phoenix Entertainment, Mr. Liam Lin, as he comes to the stage to say a few words. For companies, the news hit the room and the internet like another bombshell. People frantically searched online, only to discover in horror that behind the recent hit movie Chronicles of the Cat God, the breakout singer Yoon Joo-juan, the $10 billion Gwaeching Bridge project. Behind all these seemingly unrelated headlines stood one single man. Liam walked calmly onto the stage and took the microphone, his voice steady and powerful. Around New Year's, Phoenix Pharmaceuticals will launch its first independently developed drug. I hope it will allow you to live without fear of illness. All the companies under my name will eventually be merged into the Phoenix Group. The group has established the Phoenix Charitable Foundation. On top of tonight's $197 million from the auction, the foundation will contribute an additional $200 million. He paused, his gaze sweeping across the room and finally settling on the camera, his voice suddenly rising with passion. Finally, I can only speak for myself, not for the entire younger generation of our nation. But I firmly believe that our country is full of talent, a land of dragons and phoenixes. The purpose of the Phoenix Group is to support these unsung contributors, to make our motherland more prosperous, more flourishing, and more powerful. The applause was a tidal wave, drowning out everything else. The gala ended, but the hall remained abuzz. Business elites mingled, champagne glasses in hand, searching for opportunities. For the first time, Chloe stood at the center of such a high-stakes social arena, yet she moved with an effortless grace. She chatted with various corporate executives, her poised demeanor and clear thinking giving no hint that this was her debut on such a stage. Liam stood quietly a short distance away, like a guardian, admiring his wife's transformation and blossoming. At 10:30 that night, in their Riverview suite, the lights of Seascape City glittered outside the window. Chloe stared out, seemingly still processing the whirlwind of the evening. Dealing with these people is exhausting, she sighed softly. Liam came up behind her, gently massaging her temples. To be honest, I really didn't expect you to handle it so well. Chloe caught his hands and turned around. His reflection, and the city lights beyond, swam in her bright eyes. Liam. She gazed at him, her words perfectly clear. Let's get remarried. Liam froze. Chloe continued. I'm the senior vice president of Phoenix Pharmaceuticals now. If we wait too long to remarry, people will still have doubts. For the Phoenix Group, and for you, I'm willing to take that risk. Beneath the rational analysis, her eyes were slightly red, her deep affection no longer possible to hide. A tremor went through Liam's heart. He knew that only in this moment had Chloe truly, completely given him a second chance. He pulled her fragile body into a fierce hug, 1,000 words culminating in a single phrase. Chloe, thank you. Brother Lin, sis-in-law, can you stop with the public displays of affection? Think about us single guys. Dexter teased from the side. Liam laughed and decided to play matchmaker. Introducing Chloe's best friend, Sarah Shun, to Dexter. Watching Dexter's lovesick expression as he stared at Sarah's photo, the mood in the room became wonderfully lighthearted. But amidst the warmth, a cold curve formed on Liam's lips. Looks like your love life is sorted out, he said to Dexter. So now, let's watch some interesting news. He took out his phone and typed Regal Pharmaceuticals into the search bar. Instantly, a flood of sensational videos appeared on the screen. Breaking. Regal Pharmaceuticals chairman Nathan Ning's affair with Lucia Liu, heiress of the Liu Group, exposed. The videos featured intimate photos of the pair, deep dives into the backgrounds of both corporate giants, and high-definition replays of Linda Ning's arrogant behavior at the gala. The same woman who had been so domineering on the live broadcast was now viciously pilloried, turned into the biggest laughingstock in the country. Serves her right, Penny said, feeling vindicated. Brother, interested in shearing some wool off these two giants. Liam turned to the dumbfounded Dexter and raised an eyebrow. The stock market? Dexter realized instantly. Liam nodded. Every little bit counts. I plan on earning back the money we bled on Chanel tonight from them. Let's buy the dip. Make a few billion. Just for fun. Just for fun. Dexter's mouth twitched. His worldview had just been shattered all over again. Just then, Liam's phone rang. The caller ID was Nathan Ning. Lin, what is the meaning of this? Nathan's roar, suppressed but furious, came through the phone. Liam's voice was unervingly calm. Who's the despicable one here, me or you? You know the answer better than I do. You started this, so I'm just finishing it. Liam Lin, you're ruthless. Nathan gritted his teeth. From now on, Regal and Phoenix are mortal enemies. As long as I, Nathan Ning, am around, no product from Phoenix Pharmaceuticals will ever see the light of day. Yeah, Liam chuckled softly, and said one last thing before hanging up. You really do overestimate yourself. Let's wait and see. Nathan Ning's declaration of war came faster and fiercer than Liam had anticipated. Overnight, the scandal of the Regal Pharmaceuticals chairman's affair with the Liu Group heiress went viral, dragging two multi-billion-dollar corporations into a quagmire of public opinion. However, Just as everyone thought the main players in this war were Nathan and Linda Ning, a more powerful undercurrent quietly shifted its focus to Liam. The next morning, before the seascape city sun had fully burned away the chill, Dexter's gasp broke the silence in the suite. "Brother Lynn, you have to get up and see this. Regal is imploding. But they're fighting back." Liam poked his head out from under the covers, his eyes still heavy with sleep, seemingly unconcerned by the storm raging outside. Dexter, however, was frantic. He held his phone in front of Liam's face. The screen was a maelstrom. Shocking headlines and maliciously edited old photos tore open the ugliest parts of Liam's past 4 years for the entire world to see. Casinos, bars, loan records. Every detail was there, excruciatingly clear. But what truly ignited the negative sentiment was one cleverly angled photo. In it, a woman with a figure remarkably similar to Chloe's held the hand of a little girl who looked just like Sophie. Both of their faces bore clearly visible bruises. The headline was written in blood-red letters, behind the Phoenix chairman, his battered wife and daughter. Damn it, Dexter couldn't help but curse. This is so dirty. The photo is obviously fake, but it looks so real. Nathan Ning is trying to redirect the storm, using you as a shield for Regal. Liam merely glanced at it, shrugged nonchalantly, and got up to go to the bathroom. His unshakable calm in the face of disaster only made Dexter more anxious. "Brother Lynn, aren't you worried? The whole internet is trashing you. If sis-in-law sees this, if you're so worried, then you can help me." Liam's voice came from the bathroom. "How? Just tell me," Dexter said, pounding his chest. Liam came out, wiping his face, and casually sent Dexter a few phone numbers. "That's the photographer, the Photoshop artist, and the mother and daughter in the photo. I'll send you their addresses in a bit. If they don't listen to reason, you can arrange for some people to go over and show them what real evidence looks like." Dexter froze, staring at the numbers on his phone. His eyes were wide, his breathing shallow. He looked at Liam as if he were a monster. What kind of demon was this? Regal had just played their trump card, and he already had the names and addresses of everyone involved? Was there truly a god in this world? If we were only going to make $3 billion off them before, Liam smiled. Now, we might just have to double it. Just as the tidal wave of public opinion stirred up by Regal was about to swallow everything, a red torrent bearing the official seal of Azure Bay City crashed into the muddy waters with unstoppable force. At 3 in the afternoon, every major news platform and video app was flooded with videos and announcements from Azure Bay City official. According to official sources, Phoenix Pharmaceuticals chairman Liam Lynn once accidentally discovered a pipeline leak at a chemical plant in the west of the city, preventing a major industrial accident. Azure Bay City Police Chief Logan Lee stated that the successful resolution of the Madness burglaries case was thanks to crucial information provided by Mr. Liam Lynn at great personal expense. In light of Mr. Liam Lynn's outstanding contributions to our city, the Azure Bay City government has decided to nominate him for the 10 Outstanding Youths of Azure Bay City Award. The final, decisive blow came from a joint statement from the city's IT and public security departments. After technical verification, the so-called domestic abuse photo circulating online has been confirmed to be a serious digital forgery, unrelated to Chloe Chun and her daughter. The government urges netizens to be rational and solemnly declares that it will pursue legal action against those who create and spread these rumors. The government had spoken. The case was closed. The negative public opinion that had been so rampant just moments before instantly disintegrated. The online narrative performed a dramatic, stunning reversal. The netizens who had been the most vicious in their condemnation were now the loudest in their praise. Liam looked at the news on his phone, a warmth spreading through his chest. He dialed Walter Zhou's number. "Grandpa," he said with a smile, "your grandson is in quite a bit of trouble right now." "You brat, don't give me that." Walter's hearty laugh came from the other end. "I bet you even knew what Nathan Ning was going to have for dinner tonight. I was just stating the facts. What is there to thank me for? When you get back to Azure Bay, remember to buy more seafood. This old man is getting hungry again." The powerful endorsement from the Azure Bay City government was a sledgehammer that shattered the dam of public opinion carefully constructed by Regal Pharmaceuticals. But this was only the beginning of Liam's counterattack. Less than an hour after the official statement, a video confession, posted under a real name, detonated across the internet like a depth charge. In the video, a woman named Mandy Ma, holding her daughter in a blurred ID card, clearly explained how she was lured by a photography team with a 50,000 yuan payment to pose for a set of photos with makeup that made her look injured. On camera, she washed off the makeup, revealing her true face and proving with irrefutable facts that the widely circulated domestic abuse photo was, from start to finish, a meticulously planned fraud. Immediately after, members of the photography team involved also began posting videos, confessing their actions. Though they didn't name names, it was obvious to everyone who they were pointing the finger at. Regal Pharmaceuticals, so arrogant just a day before, was instantly reduced to a pariah, nailed to a pillar of shame. Turn defeat into victory? "I was never defeated to begin with," Liam said. hanging up a call from the awestruck CEO of Sparrow Media. His tone was casual, but it carried an aura of absolute control. He knew the real show was just getting started. One stone had stirred up 1,000 waves. The scandal at Regal Pharmaceuticals had opened Pandora's box. Countless competitors, like sharks smelling blood, swarmed in, dumping troves of dirt they had long been holding onto into the public sphere. Regal Pharmaceuticals evades taxes for 3 consecutive years, amounting to over $10 billion. Wife of the Lu Group's chairman spotted with company's own celebrity at hotel for 3 days. Hayden Ning, heir to Regal Pharmaceuticals, responsible for fatal accident killing 4, still at large. One after another, each piece of news was enough to destroy an ordinary company. But now, they rained down like a storm on the seemingly indestructible empires of Regal Pharmaceuticals and the Lu Group. Major breaking news about the two companies was being refreshed almost every half hour, pushing all other entertainment gossip off the trending lists. The next day, the stock market opened. The storm officially moved from the court of public opinion to the capital markets. The first to collapse was the Lu Group, an innocent bystander caught in the crossfire. From the moment the market opened, its stock price went into a nosedive. In a single morning, it plummeted from 6,400 to just over 4,000, erasing nearly $50 billion in market value. It was a bloodbath. But the true epicenter of the storm, Regal Pharmaceuticals, was about to meet its doomsday amidst a panic-selling frenzy. At 1 in the afternoon, the market reopened. Regal's stock price was like a burst dam, a raging torrent. 5,800, 5,100, 4,400, 3,900. Dexter stared blankly at the glaring green line on his phone screen, feeling as if he couldn't breathe. In less than 3 hours, Regal's stock had plunged from 6,500 all the way down to 3,400, hitting the limit down for the day. Its market value had been cut in half, a staggering loss of $75 billion. He had watched them build their tower, and now he was watching it fall. The butterfly effect, triggered by one woman's arrogance at a gala, had finally escalated into a financial tsunami that swallowed 2 corporate empires. The moment Regal's stock hit its limit, Liam put down his fork, picked up his phone, and dialed Zane Zhou. His voice was soft, but it carried an undeniable command. Begin.